All right, I'm not selling anything. It's just me and I'm talking. So, yesterday I got back from a trip up north. Let's see, I spent Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I spent 5 days traveling, the last 5 days. I'm on vacation, by the way. That's how this is possible. I'm a resident substitute teacher at a local high school, so that's how I'm able to afford this travel. Um, I'm able to also afford this travel because I am sacrificing my future. I should be staying in my apartment, maybe reading a book, not paying for gas, not paying to travel. That's what I should be doing. I should be saving my way to a healthy retirement. Um, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I see travel as being far more rewarding than anything else. I take that back. When I spoke with my cousin, my young cousin Perry, who hasn't traveled to Europe, and I was talking to him about 4 years ago, and we were talking about Paris. We were talking about France, and he had never been, but he had read about Paris. He had watched, he had learned about it. So I was like, "Hey, man, you know some things that I didn't know about Paris, France, and I've been there." And I was like, "What's the purpose of travel if you can learn everything just by reading a book, picking up a book?" So there is that. I live in Inglewood. Airplanes are flying overhead constantly. I remember when I was growing up, my cousin lived in Inglewood. I didn't, but I would visit my cousin damn near every weekend, cousin Chris, and because he lived in Inglewood, airplanes would fly overhead. Never forgot that. They had a joke about that in Soul Plane. Airplanes flying overhead in Inglewood. That's how you know you're in Inglewood. All right. So for over the last 5 days, let's get back to what I was talking about. The last 5 days of travel. 5 days I traveled, and I went up north. Let me write down so I can keep track of these places because, oh my gosh, these last 5 days have just been, oh gosh, I've just been going everywhere, doing everything, spending all kinds of money, volitionally and also like involuntarily, like I was forced to, right? Okay, I'll explain that. I wasn't scammed in any way. It was just, the circumstances demanded that I had to pay, you know? Okay, I'll be more specific. So I'll stop being vague and and circuitous and whatever. Since I mentioned it, I just have to tell you, I was in San Francisco and it was just terrible. I knew the stories in San Francisco about people leaving their cars with valuables in them, and those windows getting broken in, their cars getting broken into, windows being smashed, whatever. And it happens like regularly in San Francisco, and the police are powerless to do anything against a whole theft ring. I heard that story. I knew that. So I was like, I'm not chancing it. I need to park it in a secure. I need to park my car in a secure area. So I parked it in a car garage, but I had to pay dearly for that. $45 for like 12 hours, between 12 and 16 hours. It's $45 for 24 hours, but I was only parked there for like 12 to 16 hours or something like that. You get my drift? You get me? All right, so I'm writing down I'm taking notes in order to tell you so I don't forget anything. So here I am in Los Angeles. So I left on Sunday, and I left on Sunday from LA with the intention of going up north. I knew I believed I would not make it to San Francisco in a day. So what I did is I just I took stops. I knew that I was going to stop at some point, so I was like, let me just stop at these different places and make the most of the trip. All right, my first stop was Camarillo. The Camarillo premium outlets. Now I got there and I saw some things that I thought I needed. I bought some things for my students. They had a deal and it was a good deal. So I spent like $150 at the Nike store. I bought a pair of shoes for like $60. And then I bought some sweats for my class. I think they'll appreciate it. And I just want to show that, I don't know. I guess I want to show when you look good, you feel good. And I want my students to participate more in their PE class. So I bought them some sweats, $15 per pair of sweats, Nike branded. They're regularly $45, almost $50. So I was like, it'll be a good thing. So in total, I spent $150. My shoes were the most expensive, like $60 for the shoes. And then the pants were just $15 each. I bought like 6 pair, I believe, at the premium outlet. All right, so I spent some money there. After Camarillo, I went to Ventura. Mind you, I've been to Camarillo before. Now, Ventura, I hadn't been to before. I went to, or maybe I did when I was in high school, but I just don't remember. All right, so in Ventura, I went to Buenaventura, the Mission Buenaventura. I couldn't get in. It was Palm Sunday, and Mass was going on, so they were like, no tours right now. You have to wait until 1 p.m. I wasn't trying to wait. I was just trying to sightsee. And so I went to a couple of museums over there in Ventura. Then I hopped back in the car. No. While I was in Ventura, I walked into a nice furniture store and I bought a rug, an Afghan rug, regularly $425. I got it for like $180. So there I was spending more money right there. Even before I got to San Francisco, even before I completed my journey, there I was spending more money. Like, jeez, dude. And I felt rich. I felt rich while on my way up to San Francisco, up to San Fran. I felt rich. I was like, oh, I can afford that. Yeah, that's a good deal. Oh, yeah, I could do that. What's the brother who's on Instagram? Javarius something. That brother's hilarious, man. And I was looking at the rug like, yeah, I think I could do that. I think I could do that. Check for him on TikTok. He is hilarious. I think his name is Javarius. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well then I'll keep going. Okay. So Camarillo and then Ventura. I bought the rug. I bought the shoes and the sweats. Okay. After Ventura, I made my way to Santa Barbara. All right. So in Santa Barbara, I did not have the intention of staying in Santa Barbara. I was just there to take a break from driving. So I got some food. I had a quesadilla at a local taqueria. California is good for Mexican food, you dig? Because it was once Mexico, a part of Mexico, right? So in Santa Barbara, okay, so what am I saying? Number one, my goal was to head as far north as possible without getting discouraged, because I didn't think I would make it to San Francisco, but I did. So get as far north as possible. Then the other thing was go to the missions, the California missions. I had been seeing missions, the week prior and even the month before this happened. A month or so ago, I went to San Juan Capistrano. A week ago, I probably went to San Fernando, Mission San Fernando Rey de España, where Bob Hope is buried. And then, so as I was going up the coast, when I was in Ventura, I wanted to stop at Mission Buenaventura. As I mentioned, the mass was taking place, so I couldn't. And then after that, the next mission was in Santa Barbara. But because I wasn't, I guess I wasn't in mission mode. Also, everything was getting expensive. I had already spent some money. Now I'm in Santa Barbara, which is known for being an expensive, town. Heck, even the guy I bought the rug from in Ventura was like, "Hey, nobody told you to come to the expensive store, to the expensive side of town." He's like, "Man, you're in a very expensive area, you know." I was like, "Man, that's part of me being a Black Panther. That's my quiet protest, my silent protest. Like, man, we're not in these places, but we need to be. We need to see what's available. We don't need to patronize these places and spend our money. We don't need to do that. I mean, I did find some things I liked and I wanted, so but we need to know, what all they're trying to keep us from, what types of experiences they're trying to keep us from having. Yeah, we cannot be relegated to the life in the hood and I think that and think it's all good. No, no, not at all. All right, so that's my little rant. So Santa Barbara, I wasn't trying to spend a lot of money, so I parked and I tried to park, quickly to get out in and out within the 70 minutes. They have 70-minute parking for free. So I was like, let me just get something to eat, walk around, rest a little bit, and then hop back in the car for free, which that is what happened in Santa Barbara. Now, after Santa Barbara, I learned about a place called Solvang. It's a Swedish town in California. And yeah, I wanted to see it. I wanted to go there because I've been to Denmark and I've been to Sweden. I was there in 2022. That's a little bit of a flex. I'm stunting on y'all, man. I wanted to see how it compares to the real thing. As far as the food and services go, everything was Swedish at Solvang or Solvang. Never mind the pronunciation. That's the least important thing. Tomato, tomato. Um, but I mean, I was still in California, so when I went into Solvang, I stayed there a night. And when I registered or yeah, for my room, I said to the young lady, the receptionist, I told her, in order to say thank you, I said tak. And she said, what? And I was like, tak. She was like, did you want me to change your room? And I was like, no, 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 no. Tak means thank you in Swedish, right? And she's like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, but you work in the Swedish town. No one speaks, no one just for fun uses Swedish around you. Like, what's going on? So I was like, man, it's California. It's still California. I think she was Latina, by the way. Yeah, it was still California. All right, so anyway, Solvang, had a great time there, wonderful experience there. Then after Solvang, I left and made my way up, continuing going north, but I stopped at San Luis Obispo. Oh, by the way, while I was in Solvang, oh yeah, yeah, I went to a mission. I went to the mission there at Solvang. The name of the mission escapes me. No, 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 it doesn't. It's Santa Ynez, Santa Ynez, Inez. Yep, yep, yep. That's the mission there. I went to the Chumash casino, that the Chumash Indians, right? So I went to the Chumash casino over there. I won $200. I walked into the casino. I lost $90. I went. and took out some more money, which is not a good idea. But instead of like gambling with that money that I took out, I took $20 and I tried a different game. I tried something new. So I walked over to a slot machine. I put only $20 in after losing $90 at the table games, right? So I took only $20 and walked to the slot machine. I put $20 in. I pressed the button twice. One time it spun around and I won nothing. I pressed the button again. Second time it spun around and then I won $220. So I lost $90 over there. I put $20 in the machine. That's $110 right there. So basically, I played with $110. I walked out of the casino with $240. I had all the money that I had, plus I made $130. I was a happy camper. And then I left Solvang and I went to San Luis Obispo. And then after San Luis Obispo was dope. I went to a Chinese restaurant there. I also went to a local surfer spot. See, what happens is when you get out of the hood, like everything changes to like the surfer and skateboard culture, and everyone's like hiking, biking, surfing, sailing, like all the beach cities, where the white people are, which is one of the reasons why I never really liked or never felt comfortable wearing sandals, because it was like always something that someone else did, like especially the people in Santa Cruz, the beach cities in Los Angeles, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, whatever. That's what they do. They wear those sandals. I wasn't comfortable. I'm a city guy. I wear my sneakers, All right, so San Luis Obispo. Yeah, in San Luis Obispo, so I went into the little surfer shop. They had red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. They had the colors, so I was like, yo. I was upset, actually, because red, gold, and green is like significant, for Rastas. But this was in San Luis Obispo. This was like predominantly white and Asian. But those colors, I felt like they were co-opting those colors. And I was like, that's not cool. Especially when I want to present, I want to bring clothes into the consciousness, into the culture that represent, California sunshine. Have you ever seen the brand AV, Aviator Nation? They use the colors of the sun, of the beach. And that aesthetic, though, that color scheme, I want to see more of that in urban wear. That's what I'm saying. Because I think we're missing that. But those are beautiful colors, and they shouldn't be given to them. They shouldn't have the power over those colors. I mean, those are natural colors. Like what's that all about? I feel conflicted. Like if I put that stuff on, I'm trying to be like them. I don't know, another little rant. That's San Luis Obispo for you. But while I was there in San Luis Obispo, I stopped at a Chinese restaurant, which was important, and it was a cultural thing that I was thinking of doing. I was like, this is an old Chinese spot. By patronizing this place, I'm getting a bit of history. I'm getting a bit of I'm supporting a person or a group of people of color, that kind of thing. So I felt it was like the right thing to do. Like, yeah, this is a good look. And so I went into the Chinese restaurant and I had a wonderful meal. There was a white boy who was a waiter, which like kind of put me off. Like, oh brother, even this restaurant is whitewashed, But it was all good, man. He was really, really cool dude, really nice. And the food was delicious. So I mean, there was no pretentiousness coming from the dude, just a genuinely good dude. And he was my waiter, and he was interested in my travels, asked me, what I was doing, where I was headed and stuff like that, and he wished me well. So I appreciated that. So, shout out to you, buddy, brother, All right. I've been rambling for a bit now, and I don't want this to go more than 20 minutes. So I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to get back. We're gonna get back with what's Larry been up to, or rather, what did Larry do after San Luis Obispo? When we come back, I'm gonna answer that question. What did Larry do after San Luis Obispo? Let's go.
Uh, I think thoughts is powerful in all facets. Because even my career, even my life, things end up turning out exactly how I visualized them. Not in this time frame I expected. You know what I'm saying? You always want shit to happen overnight, but I just had clear visions.
You're at 109 right now.
All right, so we're back. Let's talk about San Luis Obispo. Also, if you're looking at the bottle here, I put this bottle here because this is my favorite Ethiopian water. I said my favorite Ethiopian water as if I had tasted other Ethiopian water brands. I haven't. This is the only one that I have tasted. This is the one that I know. Ambo. I'm glad that I can get Ambo bottles here in Los Angeles. All right. I was in San Luis Obispo. I had the Chinese food. I visited the surf shop with the Rastafarian colors, and then I left San Luis Obispo, and I drove up to. My intention was to drive up to Monterey. I had been to Monterey before, and it was no biggie to get there or to visit again. I've been to Monterey now 3 times. The last time was a year or so, 2 years ago with my wife. Then the first time I was in high school when I visited Monterey. I didn't know anything about Seaside, however. Seaside has a black history. Seaside was the community where the blacks lived. Monterey was like, if you're black, get out of here. Kind of like Culver City. Kind of like any sundown town. I don't know if the history is that bad. If Monterey was a sundown town, I mean, why wouldn't you expect it to be? I don't know. When so many other places were. I just don't know the history. Anyhow, so I was making my way up to Monterey. And before getting to Monterey, I stopped in Salinas. I remember I stopped in King City to get gas, and boy, oh boy, don't stop in King City to get gas. King City, not because there was any problem there, it was just King City was the gas station right off of the highway. In King City, the gas was expensive. It was like, oh, this is ridiculous. I was loving cheaper gas, like under $5, and then I got to King City, and it was more than $5. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it was ridiculous, almost like $6. So I talked with the cashier. I was like, why is the gas so expensive? She was like, yeah, I know. I was like, this is ridiculous. She's like, yep. So it is what it is. All right. So Salinas, right? All right. So after Salinas, I jumped back on the highway after getting gas. No. Excuse me. After getting gas in King City, I jumped back on the highway, and then I made my way up to Salinas. I wanted to stop in Salinas because before Monterey, because they had a casino there. So I went to the casino in Salinas, and I was sorely disappointed. That place was just like, it wasn't a casino. There were a bunch of table games, there. No slot machines, only table games. A bar, I think, in another section. It was just like, it was bad. It was like a hall. Just one open hall in a small area at that. You walk right past the door, walk into the door, walk right past the security guard, and you're met with like 5 tables. Choose one and start gambling. Most of the guys were playing poker, and then I sat at the blackjack table and started playing alone. But then other guys started playing with me, which was great. If you know the game of blackjack, it's better to play with others than to play alone. And it's better to play 2 hands than to play 1. But if you're broke, it's better just to not play at all. But I played, right? I played. I had high hopes of winning, some nice, a few hundreds or whatever. But after maybe an hour of playing there, 45 minutes to an hour, I was only up $70. So I just had to cut myself loose. Like, all right, if I haven't made a lot of money until now, $70, just be happy with it. So I took $70 and I cashed out. So between the Chumash Casino and the casino in Salinas, I made $200. So the $200 basically covered the gas, covered at least one night of one night's accommodation, one night's reservation at some hotel. So that helped me out. So I'm grateful. All right, now after Salinas, I jumped in the car, put my I have this contraption here. It's a mount is what it is, and I'm able to connect my GoPro to it at the top here, and I can set it on top of my car and I can film with it, right? So let me show you how that works. You put the GoPro thingamajig here. There's the GoPro, there's the mount. You put that on the car. These are suction cups here, and this whole thing mounts on the car, and these suction cups keep the mount from moving. That's what I wanted to say. So after I left Salinas Casino, I put the mount on top of my car, and then I filmed a little bit of Salinas. I can put that in here. You can watch me drive around Salinas. Then I made my way to Monterey. Everything was smooth. Everything was going smoothly, and as I was approaching Monterey, like I decided to turn the GoPro off just before I saw all of the beautiful shoreline, all of the bay. Just before I saw the bay, I turned the camera off, and I was like, oh, because I couldn't turn around. I was on the highway, So I missed out on pretty much a beautiful view. But anyway, so I went there in Monterey and had a great time. I did not have a reservation, so I made the reservation while I was in Monterey. So what I did is I went to a local Trader Joe's in the parking lot before entering Trader Joe's. I sat in my car and I searched for a fairly cheap accommodation, which I found, and I stayed at the Stevenson Motel, which was lovely, clean. The water pressure was excellent. Everything was nice at the Stevenson. It was just like perfect. Oh, by the way, when I was in Solvang, the water pressure at the Solvang hotel was just like perfect. It was really nice. Everything was great at Solvang. I jumped in the jacuzzi when I was there, but I'm backtracking. I'm telling you about what happened before when I should have told you about that before. But all right, back to Monterey. Everything was lovely in Monterey. I stayed at the Stevenson. I went to the Fisherman's Wharf and I had a meal at a really lovely Italian restaurant. I had clam chowder in the bread, in the sourdough bun, right? That was awesome. I kind of felt like I was underdressed, and the people I was seated next to kind of were underwhelmed with my appearance, me being bearded and black. I didn't see any other black people there. I didn't see any other. No, I saw some people come in after me, and they were pretty dressed casually. But the people I sat next to, they were kind of on a date, and it was just like, oh, you guys were trying to do it big, and I kind of just showed you like something different that you weren't expected. And they probably were like, maybe a celebrity will sit next to us, like, and they get this guy. Hey, I am a celebrity though, so they did get that part. But anyway, a local celebrity. All right, whatever. Okay, so Monterey. So I went there and I had a meal. The young lady who served me was doing a fine job, and I tipped her, and I paid dearly for that meal. I had a cocktail. I had like an old fashioned or something. It was a whiskey cocktail. Never mind an old fashioned. It was a whiskey cocktail, and it probably is very similar to an old fashioned with the little with lemon. I think they had cherry or pineapple in there. There was whiskey. But I think it was that restaurant's like one of their signature cocktails. I'm giving you too many details. I need to hurry up and get through the rest of this tour. I don't want to belabor this stuff. Let me see. So Monterey, I had a nice meal, and then I walked back to my, to the hotel. I took in the sights, and I had a great time. Went to sleep. The next morning, I got up. I walked around Monterey again. I stopped at the tobacco shop, and I smoked a cigar. And that cigar shop has been open for 175 years. I met the proprietor. His name is Wyatt. Shook my hand. It was a pleasure, staying there. He's a nice guy. Oh yeah, I had breakfast in Monterey. The breakfast was terrible. All I asked for was grits, eggs, and bacon, and the grits were runny and bland. The bacon was dry and just whack. Eggs, you couldn't go wrong with the eggs, but it was all taken together. It was a terrible meal. It was like, oh, there's no soul in it at all. That's why I said when I got to Oakland, Oakland got me right. North Oakland at Lois, the Pie Queen at that restaurant. Oh, it was so much better. So I left Monterey after I did everything that I needed to move around, see the sights, film some videos and all that kind of stuff. Then I left Monterey in hopes of making it to San Francisco, San Fran. It took a long time to get there. So on my way from Monterey to San Fran, like I wasn't even thinking about stopping in Santa Cruz. I had done that before, and Santa Cruz, San Jose, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, just get to San Francisco. So I get up to San Francisco. When I'm in San Francisco, no, even before I got to San Francisco, I saw the sign for Stanford University, and I was like, oh, I'm stopping. So I pulled over and I went to Stanford University. That was wonderful. When I go to these places, I always kind of feel like you have to know what you're there for. What is the purpose? So luckily for me, I knew about Dr. Claiborne Carson runs the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Center. So I wanted to see that center. So I started walking around the campus searching for the center, and I finally found it. And then I grabbed some food, and then I was ready to leave. And I had seen Stanford University. Stanford and everything just occupies a space in your mind until you actually visit that place, and see it and see its value, either to someone else or to yourself. Like, wow, this is Stanford. It wasn't like a magical place or anything. It can be, but whatever. All right, so yeah, I went to Stanford. I think I have a lot more to say about Stanford and impressions and stuff like that, but I'm not going to share that now. So after Stanford University, I went to... I just continued on to San Francisco. So what can I say? This is where the John Coltrane Church used to be. It's not here anymore. This is the St. Cyprian Episcopal Church since 1960. So the John Coltrane Church was here at this location for about 4 years, and then they moved on. So there's a new location. So I got to San Fran, and what I was trying to do in San Fran is I was trying to go to the John Coltrane Church. Like, really, yeah, okay, I didn't even mention this. That was really why I was going to San Francisco. It was to see the John Coltrane Church, I had watched videos about it. I was inspired by it. I was like, I gotta go. So I get to the church. I get to San Fran. I get to the church, and then I walk in there. A very, very nice, very lovely woman tells me, "Oh yeah, they moved." And I'm like, "Wow, okay." She's like, "Don't worry. People come to visit that church from all over the world, and we have to tell them that it's moved." And the move was only recent as well. So I was, a little bummed out. I was excited because, well, I did make it to the actual place where the church was for like 4 years. Okay, for a long time, maybe longer. I don't know, but yeah, they moved. So I got the information for the new address, and I was more concerned with getting my accommodation than with going to the church. So once I got settled in at my accommodation, the next morning, I didn't even think of driving to visit the new church. I mean, it wasn't even a Sunday, and they weren't going to have service. So I was like, I'll probably just find a church that's closed or whatever. Maybe it was a mistake, but I mean, that's what I did. Oh, and the reason why I didn't mind leaving San Fran, the reason I didn't mind leaving San Fran like that is because it was horrible. It was the homeless people, outside were just, it was just a miserable scene. Like, they were smoking crack. They were, bowled over from heroin, just like, and stuck. Standing in the streets, standing on the sidewalks. It was just like, oh, this is just very bad. There was dog shit everywhere. You had to be careful where you stepped. There might be a person laying on the sidewalk, passed out. There might be a drug addict standing in front of you. There might be dog stuff right there. It was just, everything was bad in San Fran. So I was like, I was ready to go. As soon as I arrived, I was ready to go. Plus, it was expensive. I had to pay $45 for my to park there overnight in a safe place because there's a thief, a theft ring. So, and the police don't do anything about it. So I left the next day. The next day I left. Then I went to Berkeley. I went to UC Berkeley. Went to UC Berkeley to see that. That was a fascinating stop. I've heard so much about Berkeley and whatnot. I was there for maybe 10 minutes. And then I went to North Oakland. I went to Lois, the Pie Queen. I went to that restaurant. I stayed there for an hour, enjoying the food. The food was delicious. The atmosphere, oh man, it was just everything about Lois, the Pie Queen, was just perfect. It was just what I needed. It was my introduction to Oakland, and that was the right way to be introduced to Oakland. Because when I got to UC Berkeley, it was early in the morning, and then I started searching for grits because I love grits. So I started looking for grits, and then I found Lois the Pie Queen, and they were open at that hour. So I was like, I'm going. So I made it over there. I thought Lois was a white woman's name. I thought it was going to be like a white establishment. I was pleasantly surprised that it was black, all black, like really black. I was like, this is what's up. And the food was delicious. Delicious. So after UC Berkeley, I went to Oakland. And then that's when the real spiritual, cultural, journey, occurred. It all happened in Oakland. We'll continue with what happened in Oakland. Standing outside of the former headquarters of the Black Panther Party for self-defense in Oakland at 1048 Peralta Street at the T intersection of Peralta and 11th. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We're back at it. What happened in Oakland? What happened in Oakland? So, well, first off, I was trying to get to John Coltrane's church. I thought that was really inspiring, and plus with IC 109, I would like IC 109 to be the impetus for the creation of a church for Nipsey Hussle. You dig? If John Coltrane can be given sainthood, Nipsey Hussle can too. That's what I'm talking about. After the experiences I had in the desert of Oman, it's kind of clear that's what Nip needs. All right. So after San Fran, I go to Oakland. After Berkeley too, San Fran, then Berkeley, then Oakland. The introduction for me is Lois the Pie Queen. Beautiful experience there. The wall was full of celebrities. I was just like, I know who that is. I know who this is. I know who that is. It was just like, yo, what's up? I know the history. I know that Oakland was the hotbed, political hotbed, because it was where the Black Panthers started. So, also shout out to Ricky Stevenson. When I was in Paris, I went on the Black Paris tour, and I learned that Ricky Stevenson, the creator of the Black Paris tour, is from Oakland. And it was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of political activity. There's a lot of powerful black people who come up out of Oakland. Shout out to Milton Bowens, 5'10", artist from Oakland. Shout out to all the rappers from the Bay Area, the Yay area. Anyhow, yeah, Oakland has always been that place. Like, wow, Black Panthers, and politics, political activism in Oakland. Berkeley too, but Oakland for the Black Panthers. So I was there to tour Black Panther related things. I did a quick search. Oh, first I found Marcus Books. I was too early. I was like half an hour early, and I didn't wait for Marcus Books to open, but I stood outside, took photos and what have you outside. I did a Google search, and then I found the Oakland Museum, Oakland Black Panthers Museum, which is run by Dr. Xavier Buck. He was there, and I recognized him from Instagram. I was like, hey, man, I know you. It's like, what's up, bro? We chatted for a little bit at the Black Panther Museum in downtown Oakland. Panther Power, y'all. Here we are at the Black Panther Museum. It opened up 2 months ago, and I'm here and loving it. Panther Power. After that museum, I went to the West Oakland Mural Project, which a mural was created to commemorate the women Panthers. So where that location is, it's down the street from the location where Huey P. Newton's statue is, where I believe, I don't know if the statue is where he was killed, or if it was just in the vicinity, but yeah, it's like that. So up the street from the mural, and up the street from the statue of Dr. Huey P. Newton, you can find another mural. And then if you keep going down, I'm talking about 9th Avenue. If you go down 9th Avenue and you come to Peralta, if I'm not mistaken. So at 9th Avenue and Peralta, you turn right and you keep going down. And if you look for address 1048, you're going to find the home That was one of 4 headquarters for the Black Panther Party. So, just some FYI here on Peralta. Again, just some FYI here on Peralta. Several houses down from the Black Panther Party headquarters, there is a church here at 1005 Peralta, and the address of 1009 is also a part, or it's incorporated in that that church, that Catholic church right there. 1009 is also there on their property. So I found it, 1009, 109. Downtown Oakland, went to the museum, Black Panther Museum. Then I went to the mural, the West Oakland Mural Project Museum. All right. The Huey P. Newton statue, and then the former home of the Black Panthers. So all of that. I saw all of that. Then I left there and I went to Merritt College, where Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, and Richard Aoki were students, 3 members of the Black Panthers. Richard Aoki was of Japanese ancestry, but he was also a member of the Black Panther Party, even a founding member at that. He's a really interesting, historic figure, one to learn about. They have interviews with him, almost an hours-long interview with him on Peralta News, Peralta TV on YouTube. I watched them. He's so interesting to listen to as he describes, things. I love the part where he's like, and then you move out to the suburbs. Hilarious, hilarious, but also, sort of slightly tragic, and also like controversial, because they say he was an FBI informant. So fascinating history, fascinating story. Anyhow, it would be interesting to talk with some of the black members, the black members of the Black Panther Party. The majority were black, but and ask them what they thought of Richard Aoki. That would be interesting. Anyhow, so Merritt College, that's where Huey learned, that's where Bobby learned, that's where Richard learned, and that's where, that was an important part of all of this. Merritt Community College. After Merritt College, I think I was good. I drove down the street. There was an Ethiopian Orthodox Christian church down the street from Merritt College. I stopped there. No one was home, so I kept going. After that, I left Oakland, and I left that part of Northern California to make my way home. And home for me was, the nearest to home would have been Fresno, where my cousin lives, or Hanford, where my aunt lives. And because I was tired and I didn't want to really spend any more money on, housing accommodations, I made my way to them. And I stopped in Fresno to visit my cousin. That's where we made one of our videos. We did a spectacular job on that. Thanks to my cousin. He had the drone operating, drone operations were on point. And I was trying to do my commentary. And but it's a dynamic video nevertheless. Even though I didn't have a script, everything was impromptu, but I tried to make it visually, visually pleasing and, entertaining. I'm getting tired. I need to hurry up. I need to get some rest too, I guess. Making all these videos is tiring, I guess. All right, so Marcus Books. Oh, yeah, Marcus Books and all the museums for the Black Panthers in Oakland. And then I made my way to Fresno. We made the video. And then the next morning, I went to sleep there, and I went at my cousin's house and woke up the next morning, and I left. And oh, as I was leaving Fresno, my cousin told me about Kingsburg, another Swedish town. Now, my wife and I stopped. We pulled off of the highway where the sign said Kingsburg was located about a year or two ago. I forgot how long now. But we pulled off of the highway, and I guess I pulled off on the west side, and I didn't see anything that resembled, Switzerland. So I thought, oh, it doesn't exist. I was wrong. On the east side of the street, you follow the signs a little ways away from the highway, you'll find Kingsburg. Well, I found Kingsburg. All right. I found it when I couldn't find it when my wife and I were together on that trip. So, all right. Kingsburg. And what else? Oh, I had breakfast at Katie's Cafe. I had Swedish pancakes, bacon and eggs. Oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. Yeah. I was the only brother in there, It was white and Latino predominantly. Just saying. I'm just saying. But again, it wasn't really Swedish. Nobody said talk. No one said hey, really. It's like, yeah, just another American creation. Oh, we're going to call it this, but we're really just trying to take your money because in a fancy way. Ooh, look at us. Is that what you want? Okay, here's what you're going to get. Give me that money, Planet Supermarket, right? Shout out to C Knowledge. All right. Kingsburg. And now after Kingsburg, my cousin told me about Kingsburg, but then my cousin also told me about Allensworth. I knew about Allensworth, but I had never stopped to visit. So on my way home, I was like, let me stop at Allensworth. I pulled off the freeway, and Allensworth was like 15 minutes. It was like 11 miles from the freeway. I was like, oh, man. It just made my trip even longer. But I enjoyed the break from driving, and then to be in a historic place like that. And for some reason, while I was there, I didn't have to pay for anything. Like, nothing was open. There were no park rangers or anything. Maybe it was the day that they were closed or something. I don't know, but everything was open and you could just drive around. But they say usually you have to pay $6, to drive around there. So Allensworth, that was it. Then hop back in the car and I made my way, back to LA. There were going to be no more stops, but only to, get gas, maybe grab a bite to eat. I had food in the car. I think I had food and coffee, so I didn't need anything. The last stop that I made was at Pyramid Lake. And what's significant about Pyramid Lake is that, for one, they have a view. They have a vista point, a point you can stop, use the restroom, and look out and see the beautiful lake and all of this. And then inside there's a museum. There's an exhibit about water, the management, about water management, dams and what else? I don't know, trenches, dams, and pipelines and all this types of stuff. I was fascinated in this topic because when I left Allensworth, I learned that Allensworth declined in part due to the railroad, like the path of the railroad system. It diverted. And so the customer base, the people who patronize Allensworth stores and who spent time there, during their travels, the black people, well, they weren't coming to Allensworth anymore. So their trajectory had been diverted by, the train line. But then the other issue was that Allensworth was hit with drought. And they didn't have access to water. So I thought, man, these things sound like they were deliberate. The train line is diverted and the water supply was limited. These people were just starved, and that was just some vindictive, devious stuff. So when I got to Pyramid Lake and they were talking all about water, then I tried to focus in on that time. So Allensworth, the 1900s, like, let me see what was happening with water management during the 1900s. That was my question. So I looked at it and everything, and I didn't find the answers that I needed, but I certainly got an idea that, yeah, because of what was happening in other areas, those things affected Allensworth, and sadly, our black community was, declined, or it entered a decline. Allensworth still exists today, which is surprising. There are people who live in Allensworth, not the section that's preserved, not the section that's a park, but then Allensworth is so much larger, and there are people who are growing up there, are living there, and are part of the Allensworth, history. So, all right, to recap, I went on this road trip in order to see John Coltrane's church for a spiritual purpose. I found spirituality at the California Missions, which also has a devastating history about, killing a culture and, killing people, genocide and rape and, language, the decimation of languages and cultures and, imperialism and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The missions, I got tired of the missions, but I was also delighted to visit museums related to the Black history or Black liberation struggle, the Black Panthers in particular, and then finally to end the journey in Allensworth and learn more about California's Black pioneers, period. That really California Republic, y'all. So that was my road trip. 5-day road trip ending yesterday, March 28th. Began on March 23rd. Okay. Oh, right. This is IC 109. Right. Did I see 109? Did I see 109 throughout my travels? Yes. I was on the highway yesterday and I was passing a truck, and the truck had 109 on its cab, in the back of its cab. I wanted to take a picture. I wasn't prepared to take a picture. The truck passed by. It was behind me, and it would have been ridiculous for me to have slowed down and waited for the truck to pass me on the highway, even though no one else was on the highway. There were like 4 trucks and then my car, but in my lane there was no one behind me, and I was well ahead of the truck. And I thought, well, if I slow down enough and wait for the trucks to catch up, then I can get that photo. And no one's behind me for miles, so I could do it, but I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. So I did see 109 there. Yeah, related to me, that was it. That was it, except when I left Fresno. I didn't mention this. When I left Fresno, I left my cousin's home that morning, jumped in the car, and I went to the gas station, Chevron. I went to the Chevron station, and sometimes I like to play with 10-9, so I'll pull up to pump number 10 or pump number 9 and take a photo. Sometimes it's intentional, other times it isn't. This time I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not looking for it. I'm not, it was the last thing on my mind. Wait a minute. I didn't say that correctly. I don't go looking for a 10-9. I don't go looking for it, okay? That's what you have to understand. So as I was saying, I was leaving Fresno. I pulled into the gas station and I pulled up to pump 5 because I was like, man, I'm not even going to take that picture. You know, the 10-9 picture where I'll look at it and whatever. I'll look at the pump and I'll purposely park at pump 10 or 9 to take that photo. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing all that stuff. I'm just going to get home. I pull up to pump number 5. Y'all. I get out of the car and I look at how much money the last person paid at pump number 5. Y'all, they paid $109 and some change. So I saw 10-9. Think about that. Just think about that. How I saw it. Just think about that. Peace and blessings.
Fresno's been great. Peace to cousin Ryan, Marisol, Naomi, Warren. Love you guys. Thanks for having me over and stay. Fresno wouldn't let me leave without another 10-9 sighting, so I just turned off into the gas station, the Chevron here, and pulled up to pump number 5. Pump number 5 has no relation to 10-9 whatsoever. But over here at pump 2, someone paid, the last person paid $87 over here. At pump number 7, someone paid $62. You can't see it. That truck is over there. Someone paid $87 over here at pump number 4. And I just pulled up to pump number 5. Now I just paid, I put some money in here or whatever. But the story goes, as soon as I pulled up, the last person to pump here on pump number 5, you know how much they spent? Yeah, I don't have to tell you. All right, love you guys. Peace.
October 9th.
Yes, sir.
That's where it starts.
You're at 109 right now.